So Stephanopoulos is an anchor, media anchor. He interviewed Trump, asking him about if a foreign adversary uses espionage evidence and gives it to you for you to use against your political opponents, would you inform the FBI? Trump says no. Why should I inform the FBI? And then Stephanopoulos said, because it's illegal, it's a crime, and the FBI says it. And Trump says, well, the FBI is wrong. So, in other words, you gotta understand when Putin hacked into the DNC Panetta laptop, it was not just for the Hillary Clinton emails. Putin hacked into the DNC Panetta laptop to find out what was being said behind committee doors, whether Ways and Means committees, Services Arms committees, Foreign Affairs committee. Uh, so the thing that Putin wanted to find out by hacking into the Panetta laptop DNC archives, it was what was being talked behind closed doors between the Republicans and the Democrats when it came to the military, when it came to foreign affairs, when it came to what they were strategizing behind closed doors between Congress and the Senate as far as foreign affairs and how it directly affected Russia. That's that's why Putin hacked into the DNC Panetta laptops. While Trump was busy saying, hey, Russia, if you're listening, can you find the rest of the stolen emails? Or, so you can understand, that's how espionage happens, is by foreign adversary nations hacking into systems to find out treasure troves of information that can give them the hands up and the heads up to avoid and counteract any American policies, initiatives. That's what was in it for Putin when he was hacking the DNC Panetta laptop. It was not to help Trump solely with Hillary Clinton emails. That was a small part of it. The grander, bigger picture for Putin was to see what was the Services Arms Committee, the Ways and Means Committee, the Intel committees, what they were discussing behind closed doors. What was Congress bipartisan initiatives when it came to Russia and foreign affairs? That was the motivation for Putin to hack into the DNC. So you got to understand, while Trump was sending Trump Jr., Paul Manafort, and Jared to the Trump Tower meeting to see if they can get espionage emails from the Kremlin to use against Hillary Clinton, while Trump was busy uh, sending Roger Stone to meet Julian Assange to get the leaked emails. So I was fascinated why this scoundrel that we call Trump is so blatantly bold. So when news anchor Stephanopoulos asked him, at the same interview where he got mad because his chief of staff uh, was sneezing and he kicked out the chief of staff. That's how vain Trump is. That's how vain he is. He kicked out his chief of staff because he happened to sneeze. Anyway, but the reporter Stephanopoulos asked him, if a foreign nation adversary or a foreign nation gives you espionage evidence for you to use against your political opponent, will you inform the FBI? Trump says, no, why should I? And then Stephanopoulos said, because the FBI says is a crime. And Trump said, well, the FBI is wrong. I got appalled at that. I got appalled because I knew the true intentions of Russia hacking into the DNC archives. I knew that it was to give a roadmap to Russia on how they should conduct themselves when it comes to America and NATO foreign affairs. That's what was being talked behind closed doors in the Intel committees. That's what was being talked behind closed doors in the Services Arms committees. the Foreign Affairs Committee. So, to me, it's appalling to have a dim-witted person like Trump being in the driver's seat in the Oval Office. Russia, if you're listening, can you find the rest of the stolen emails? And then he was insinuating that Russia helps him with the Hunter Biden laptop, with Giuliani firing the American ambassador in Ukraine, blackmailing Lasinski to get dirt on Joe Biden's son, insisting for Russia to hack and find the laptop, because I guess they gave him, I guess Russia gave them a stupid mission to Giuliani, saying, "Hey, the laptop is in Ukraine." And so Giuliani went all gun ho and went to Ukraine to find a stolen laptop, a fool's mission, if you will. When Giuliani went to Ukraine looking for the laptop, blackmailing Lasinski to get espionage evidence on Biden. So you gotta understand that it's not when a country, adversary, nation, Russia. How many nuclear missiles Russia has? 6,000, I believe. I believe they have 6,000. And when they hack into the DNC archives to see what's being talked about, what's being strategized about behind closed doors in the Senate and in Congress, as far as America's foreign affairs and foreign initiatives, behind closed doors, that's what Putin hacked the DNC archives for a treasure trove of America's strategies when it comes to foreign affairs. So I guess this dim-witted president doesn't realize what's the compromise all about. When Trump Jr. and Jared and Paul Manafort, because this Russian lady that wanted to get close to them, said, "Hey, I have close ties to the Kremlin. I can try to find you these stolen Hillary Clinton emails." And so Trump sent Trump Jr., Paul Manafort, and Jared to Trump Tower to have a meeting with this person. At the same time, Roger Stone was going to Julian Assange to try to get the inside scoop before Julian Assange leaked out the emails. But this is while Russia, meantime, in 2015, 2016, while Russia is using computer bots to undermine Hillary Clinton and put Trump in power, interfering with the communication systems of America to put bots and flood the internet with bots to give Trump the appearance that he's popular, the appearance that he's a beloved leader. That's what Russia was doing with the bots while they had the archives of the DNC in their possession, knowing what the Senate was talking about behind closed doors when it came to foreign affairs, militarily wise, politically wise, economically wise. That's how wise Putin was with the DNC archives. The same for Congress, bipartisanly, what they were talking behind closed doors. But I guess this dim-witted President Trump doesn't realize how much he compromised the United States in his 4 years in office. He hasn't learned his lesson, Trump, by keeping on undermining America's intel communities. He doesn't realize how Putin turned him into a chump. And he hasn't learned his lesson to this day. How dim-witted can you be not to see the obviousness of the situation. So that's when the FBI went into Mar-a-Lago for the second time to retrieve classified information, compartmentalized information, while Trump was busy telling the FBI in the second time, hey, to his aides, hey, hide the boxes. I think they're coming back again. In other words, Trump was refusing to turn over the classified archives that the FBI had to raid a second time. And to this day, there's folders missing. I believe it's like 40 something folders, if I remember correctly. That the folders, the reports that were in the folder were missing. So you gotta understand why there's a big to do when it comes to the FBI going to Mar-a-Lago to retrieve classified information. I wonder if Trump can sit in the Oval Office, if he could go back in time and tell Stephanopoulos, yeah, then the FBI is wrong. When Stephanopoulos asked him, would you use dirt on your political opponent, espionage evidence uh, from foreign adversary nations against your political opponent? And Trump says, yes, why not? And Stephanopoulos said, because the FBI says it's wrong. And then Trump said, well, the FBI is wrong. No, I don't think so. Because you got to understand, America has a lot of technologies when it comes to nuclear and directed energy weapons. Majority of them I have to do with it because I'm the originator of a lot of advances in the field of those subjects. And so when Russia hacked into the DNC, to me, it was not just to help Trump out. No, Putin was looking for a treasure trove behind closed doors, what the Senate was talking about, what Congress was talking about bipartisanly, what they were talking behind as far as their initiatives towards foreign affairs. And while Trump was busy in 2015, 2016, hey, Putin, if you're listening, can you find the rest of the stolen emails? Thinking that he was going to bridge Exxon into the Russian Arctic and get a Moscow tower out of it. That's what Trump thought in 2015, 2016, while he was blurting out, hey, Putin, can you find the rest of Hillary Clinton's emails? If you're listening, Russia. He just doesn't realize the fallout of weapons of mass destruction and the compromise that puts this government in. That's why the FBI, along with Trump's continuing obstruction of justice, is affecting the national security of this nation. So all you gotta do is watch that interview with Stephanopoulos to understand how dim-witted this Trump is.